Welcome to business statistics class. So in the previous video we had seen about median and what is the method to calculate median for ungrouped data, continuous data and discrete data. So today in this video we'll study about the next measure of central tendency, that is mode. So mode is the value which has the highest frequency. It is the most frequently occurring value and it is denoted by capital Z. So in a given data we have to check which value is repeated maximum number of times. So that particular value will be your mode. So in the case of ungrouped data and also in the case of discrete frequency distribution, mode is the highest frequency. So it is the value which has the highest frequency in case of ungrouped data as well as in case of discrete data. So in case of continuous frequency distribution, the mode is capital Z is equal to L plus F minus F1 into C whole divided by 2F minus F1 minus F2. So here the L represents the lower limit of the model class, F is the frequency of the model class, C is the width of the model class, and F1 is the frequency of the class preceding the model class, and F2 is the frequency succeeding the model class. And the model class is the class which contains the mode. So this formula is somewhat similar to the formula that we had studied in median for the continuous frequency distribution. So here as usual first we have to find the model class, and to find the model class we have to check the class interval which has the highest number of frequency, and once you get the model class you have to find out these values, that is L, C, width of the model class, frequency, and the values which are preceding the model class and succeeding the model class, and then you have to substitute. So this is how you calculate mode. So most of the frequency distributions have only one value with the highest frequency. So such frequency distributions are known as unimodal, that is they have only one mode. So on the other hand, if in a frequency distribution there are more than one value with the highest frequency, such distribution is called as multimodal and it will have more than one mode. So if there are two modes, then the distribution is called as bimodal. So for however distribution which has more than one mode, we can say mode is ill-defined. So now let's see the problems of finding out the mode. The first problem is for the ungrouped data. Find the mode of the following set of scores, and the scores are given, that is 14, 11, 15, 9, 11, 15, again it's 11, 7, 13 and 12. So here this is a raw data and you can see the data is less. So you can find out the mode by a direct inspection method. That is, you can see 11 is repeated 3 times and 15 is repeated 2 times. So obviously we know that mode is the value which is repeated, which has the highest frequency, which is repeated more number of times. So here we can see 11 is repeated 3 times, therefore the mode is 11 as it has occurred more times than the other numbers. So when the data is small, you can directly check the mode by just looking into the data, but whenever the given raw data is a huge data, then you can convert it into a tabular form and use the frequency table concept to make it simple to calculate. So let's see an example for that. So this is an ungrouped data. The second question is, the following are the number of children for 20 couples. Find the mode. So they are given number of children per couple So the first couple has 2 children, and then 3, 6, 3, and so on. For 20 couples, they have given how many children they have. So now this can be represented in a tabular form. So here in the data you can see the range, that is the lowest is 0 and the highest number of children is 6. So you can make a table of 2 columns. The first column is number of children, which varies from 0 to 6, and number of couples. So how to make a data is, so you have made the first column as number of children. So now check how many couple have 0 children. So there are 1 and 2. So there are 2 couples who have no child. So you can fill it in the frequency column, that is 2. And similarly check how many couple have 1 child. So you can check in the data. So here you can see there are 3 couples who have 1 child. Similarly you have to complete the table, and once you're done with the table you can check the highest frequency in this table. So here the highest frequency is 6. So this means the corresponding value of the highest frequency is 2. Therefore you can say the mode is 2. So here they can see the highest couples, the couples have 2 children, and here the 2 is the mode. So this was for ungrouped data. And similarly for the discrete data, you have to check the frequency which has highest value, and the corresponding value will be the mode value. So here in this case we have converted our raw data into a discrete data, that is in a tabular form. So now let's see how to calculate mode for continuous case. So the third example is, for the following distribution find the mode. So here percentage of marks is given. The first class interval is 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, up to we have 70 to 79, and number of students are 8, 19, 29 up to 4. So here you can see this is of an inclusive type. Here the class intervals, you can see these upper limit and the lower limit of the next class are not the same. So this is an inclusive type of data. So the first step in such cases would be you have to convert inclusive to an exclusive type of data. So even in case of median, note that whenever the class interval is of inclusive type, you have to convert it to exclusive type and then calculate with the next steps, that is finding LCF and finding the median class and then substituting it in the formula. So for the for the median and mode, it is required to calculate inclusive type to exclusive type. So how do you convert is, check the difference between the lower limit of the succeeding class and upper limit of the previous class, find out the difference and divide it by 2. So here you can see 19 minus 20 is 1. So 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. Similarly for all the class intervals it will be the same. That is 30 minus 29 is again 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. You can take for any class interval. So here the difference is 0.5. So what you have to do is, you have to subtract that value from the lower limit of each class interval and add that value to the upper limit of the class interval for each class intervals. So you can see the first class interval is 10 to 19. So for the lower limit you have to subtract 0.5. So you will get it as 9.5, and for the upper limit you have to add 0.5. So you will get it as 19.5. Similarly for the second class interval, subtracting 0.5 from 20 you will get it as 19.5 and adding 0.5 to the upper limit, that is 29, you will get as 29.5. So similarly you have to do it for all the remaining class intervals. And you can check now, we have converted inclusive type of data to exclusive type. So here the lower limit and the upper limit are the same. So this is the method to convert inclusive type of class interval to exclusive type. That is, find out the difference between lower limit and the upper limit of the next class and divide it by 2, and then add and subtract it to the lower limit and upper limit of the class intervals. So once you are done with this, and then check the value for class interval which has the highest frequency, that is, which has been repeated more number of times. So here in this data you can check that the highest value is 36. So the corresponding class interval will be your model class. So 39.5 to 49.5 has the highest frequency, therefore it is your model class. So once you get the model class, then you can easily find out the terms that we require to substitute in formula. So the first one is L, which represents the lower limit of the model class interval. So here 39.5 is our small l, and C is the width, that is upper limit minus lower limit of the model class. So we got it as 10, and small f is the corresponding frequency of the model class, that is 36, and f1 is the frequency preceding the model class frequency, that is the previous value in the frequency column, that is 29, and f2 is the succeeding value of the frequency in the model class, that is the next value. So f2 is 25. So once you get these values, the next step would be substitute it in the formula and simplify. So therefore, after substituting all the values, you will get the mode as 43.4%. So this is how you calculate mode. So let's see another example. In a class of 30 students, marks obtained by students in a subject out of 50 is tabulated as below. Calculate the mode of the given data. So here marks of 30 students is given. The first class interval is 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and 40 to 50, and this is the frequency. So here this is of exclusive type, so you can directly go ahead with the calculations, and here you can check the highest value is 12 in the frequency column. So the corresponding model class would be 20 to 30, and then your small l is 20, f is 12, and f1 is 5, and f2 is 8. So you have to substitute this in the given formula. So by substituting, and the width is 10 over here. So once you find out all the terms, then it's just substituting and calculating. So the mode for this particular problem is 26.3634, or 26 marks or percentage marks is the mode value. So these are all easy problems. So you have to remember the formulas for all the arithmetic mean, median, and mode. So the next measure of central tendency is geometric mean. So for your syllabus, geometric mean and harmonic mean is not much used, but it's important to note the definition and how to calculate. So I have just given this for your reference, and if you are interested in solving the problems, you can refer any of the textbooks. So the geometric mean of n positive values is the nth root of the product of the values, and it is denoted by G. So the geometric mean of x1, x2 up to xn values is nothing but nth root of x1 into x2, x3 up to so on till xn. So you have to, suppose there are two values, then it will be square root of product of those two values. So this is geometric mean. And the next measure of central tendency is harmonic mean. And harmonic mean of n values is the reciprocal of the arithmetic mean of the reciprocals of the given values, and it is denoted by h. So the harmonic mean for the values x1, x2 up to so on till xn is n divided by summation 1 upon x. So just like an arithmetic mean, we are taking the summation, but here in this case, the first step would be, for the given data you have to find out the reciprocal, you have to find out the sum of that reciprocal values, and then you have to use the formula n divided by summation 1 upon x. So in case of arithmetic mean, it was summation x upon n. So here you are taking the reciprocal of the arithmetic mean of the reciprocals of the given values. So these were about the measures of central tendency. Also, there is an interesting thing, that is, there is a relationship between mean, median and mode for a slightly skewed distribution. So in the upcoming classes, we'll be seeing what is skewness and what is skewed distribution. So the relationship between mean, median and mode is mean minus mode is equal to 3 times mean minus median. So after simplifying, that is, mean is taken to right hand side, so you will get 3 mean minus mean, you will get it as 2 mean. So mode is equal to 3 times median minus 2 times mean. So this minus and that minus makes it positive, and we know that mode is represented by z, median is represented by capital M, and mean is x bar. So this is an important relation, that is empirical relationship between mean, median and mode, that is z is equal to 3m minus 2x. Mode is equal to 3 times of median minus 2 times of mean. So with this we complete the basics that is required to study the third unit. So this was the basic thing, and in the next video we will be seeing the actual syllabus, that is partition values. So I hope you guys are understanding and you are practicing the problems. So this was the basic class. So in the next video we'll see the partition values. So that's it for today's class. Thank you.